A man's personality and character is exuded through his haircut. Your image is important. Our high-end services range from a traditional haircut and shave to gray blending, beard shaping, and unwanted hair removal. Located at 425 Victoria Avenue East. Book your appointment online now at modernmen.ca or call Tammy, 306-522-4111. Modern Men, a haircut for the modern man.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
Yeehaw, we're going to Texas.
We still can't win. Worst team in the NFL, worst defense historically in the history of the NFL. And since Dak Prescott got hurt, the worst offense. Whose fault is it that this team is the worst since the 1-15 of 1989? Whose fault? There's only one person higher than Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys, and it's God. So fire the coach. Isn't that always the answer, Al?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Happy Football Friday. Flame Tech Football Friday, everybody. You footballers, you've been waiting all week. And here we are today. Why do you
The only guy higher than Jerry Jones is God.
Yeah, well, it's God's team.
It's true.
So God hired Jerry. And we are going to be talking a little bit about that. As a matter of fact, thanks for pointing that out. The voice of the Dallas Cowboys will be on the air with us today, Brad Sham. How do you like that, Lynch?
Great guy.
I think they know each other. And this is not the first interview with Brad Sham on this program today. We got a lot to talk about in the National Football League, Canadian Football League. Obviously, hockey is going to get us going here in the quick six show topics in a moment. Tori Gurley, our NFL insider, who we had planned to furlough for a little while, guys. Just give him a break. Let it breathe. That lasted 1 week. Tori called, "Can I get on? I got something I want to say." Yep, of course. You're our guy.
Exactly.
Tori Gurley's going to be with us. And from TSN, Dave Naylor coming up with all the latest on the 3-down game. But let's hit the quick six show topic. Horn, please, Jordan. And I do want to say hey to everybody in Winnipeg. We love us some Winnipeg. Growing fast in Winnipeg. And you know what? They laughed. They snickered a little bit with our prediction yesterday of the Montreal-Winnipeg game, which incidentally, that wasn't even in my NHL leftovers, what happened last night with the Winnipeg Jets and the Montreal Canadiens. But there was the one guy that wrote, Trevor, and he said, "Thanks for teeing up the game on the show yesterday." He asked us to tee up the Jets and Habs, and we did. And I said, Montreal's going to win because it's the first game with a new coach, and they got spanked 6-3. You know what that tells us? The Montreal Canadiens have deeper problems than what we think.
Yeah, that's scary. And, you know, it kind of served as bulletin board material for the Jets, right? New coach. And new coaches always win, right? The fresh face. You want
Always.
the players want to. They play a little harder, right? Because they want to say, "Look, we're not going to play bad for you. We're going to pick it up. We're going to do our part." And then for the Jets to slop them around like that. That tells me that the problems are bigger in Montreal.
And they really did. But I've been on CJOB Winnipeg talking about the Jets' starts and how they've been a problem, and they were again last night. At least they're good enough to be able to flip a switch and start playing, and that's what they did because they got down, 2-0 or 3-0 to Montreal? 2-0 for sure. That's what I was watching.
Yeah.
But our official betting partner, Come On Official, had the Montreal Canadiens favored. We had Montreal favored, and the Jets showed them where the bear went in the buckwheat, as we say. And that wasn't even in my original leftovers, other than my first leftover from the NHL Thursday night was that the cream has risen officially to the top in the NHL. Toronto, Edmonton, Winnipeg. Give them the playoff spots right now. They all won games this week against teams below them, chasing them in the standings, and that right there is the mark of a good team. My second leftover is I'm just happy for Oiler fans. Not that we didn't know this, but Jason Greger was on with us yesterday from TSN 1260 Edmonton saying that no team has lost more games in the NHL in the last 20 years than the Edmonton Oilers. Just to point that out. So I'm happy that it does look like the Oilers have turned the corner. And you know what? It also looks to me that the Calgary Flames have turned the corner, but it's the wrong way. Lynch loves it from the couch. What is it from Dumb and Dumber? Lloyd Christmas, when they went on the motorcycle the wrong way.
You mean to tell me that you drove 6 hours in the wrong direction?
Those are the Calgary Flames. And my leftover is, how do you fix a culture problem? And I've been going back and forth with some viewers or tweeters. I've been going back and forth with some twits on Twitter, okay? And they're saying, well, it's trade living. They can't keep going through coaches. I'm thinking maybe it's like Telemiracle. Let's go higher. Because the culture problem starts at the top. The top sets the culture. And to me, that's the problem with the Calgary Flames. If it was that easy to fix it, they'd have fixed it. You know what I mean? Flames are in all kinds of trouble. And so it's in my commentary this morning on Cat Country. 3 teams now will be battling for the 4th and final playoff spot in the North in Canada, and that will be the Vancouver Canucks, the Calgary Flames, and the Montreal Canadiens, because the cream has already risen. My 4th leftover is watch out for the Blackhawks. I did spend some time watching them last night. They blanked Columbus, and I don't know where these Blackhawks came from. They turned back the clock,
I know,
as you like to say.
Without 2 of their big pieces.
Patrick Kane makes it look like it's 2009 all over again. So moving on, point 2. It is opening night in the Western Hockey League. Ta-da! Bravo. Ring the bell. Can you believe we're talking about games in the Western Hockey League?
I know.
It is only Alberta, but Medicine Hat's at Red Deer tonight. Lethbridge is at Edmonton. It's free pay tonight on the WHL live broadcast. Just tonight only, the home openers. Well, I guess when those teams flip.
That's a home opener,
That's a home opener, too. So 2 nights of home openers free for the WHL fans and viewers tonight. Point 3, fantastic curling on today. Draw 19 goes this afternoon at 1:30. We're into the championship round, and what a delicious matchup here. Saskatchewan Sherry Anderson versus Team Canada's Carrie Einerson, who's a Manitoba gal. So there's some friction there. Again, 1:30. We'll get into it later on in our curling report, but now we're into the nitty-grit. And that, by the way, is another thing. Sherry Anderson was appointed by Sask Curl to represent this province at the Scotties. Wouldn't it have been something if she'd crashed and burned and it would have looked like they'd made the wrong choice?
Right. But clearly they made the right one.
They made the right choice. I just want to shout out a bravo there. Point 4, National Football League notes. We got Brad Sham coming on, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys today, and our NFL insider, Tori Gurley. And the NFL stories are plentiful. And they include Russell Wilson. Does he want out of Seattle or not? We're in that, just be aware of where we are. Because the reports are that Russell Wilson wants out. They say his agents requested a trade. Now his agent says he hasn't requested a trade. This is what I'm seeing. I don't know what you're reading, but this is what I'm seeing on ESPN. Supposedly, Russell Wilson gave a list to Pete Carroll of teams that he could be traded to. I'm not asking to be traded. But if you were to trade me, these are the teams. Did I read that right?
That's exactly what I've read and what's happened.
Yeah.
Right?
What does that mean?
No. Like, I don't get this confused. Russell Wilson is not asking for a trade. But if he were to go, Dallas, Chicago, here's the 4 teams that he would get traded to. So it's, yeah. I mean, yeah.
What?
It's the guy, it's the sleazy guy at the bar who's, I'm taken. But if I wasn't, honey, trust me, we'd be going home.
I'm glad that I read it right because it's just so odd.
It's sleazy.
Okay, so we'll be talking with Brad Sham about that, and what a time to be alive. Like, just enjoy yourself if you can with these things that are going on that seem so otherworldly.
Yeah.
Because they are. Deshaun Watson met with the coach, Dave Culley, yesterday for the first time, and he was unable to change Deshaun Watson's mind down in Houston with the Texans. He's like, I want out. And I admire that kid for doing that. I really do. And every team has problems, just like I think every family has problems. But when we're sitting all the way up here in Canada and we can see the problems that Houston Texans have, how big are their problems? You know what I mean? We all want to keep our problems in-house. Don't talk about our issues. Yeah. Every team's like that. Every family's like that. Well, they got out of the house in Houston big time. And Deshaun Watson wants a divorce from the family. J.J. Watt has, he's got a ton of offers. From what I see, the best offer and what I've read is for $16 million. And what did he make last? $17.5 million with Houston?
Yep.
So when they say it's a mutual split, I don't know about you. Do you think J.J. Watt wanted $1 or $2 million cut off his salary? I wouldn't think so.
No, but I don't think it's about money when you get to be that age and you've been around, you've made enough money. It's about culture. It's about being happy, and it's about winning, right? He hasn't won.
Right, and he's also part of that tire fire that Deshaun Watson wants out from. But when Tori Gurley said no player wants to get cut, you see what he's saying. Who would want to take less money? I guess he's saying he would want to take less money to play somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it's just back to the Texans and the dysfunctional family that they are.
When you see it in the 3 teams that are potentially JJ's final 3, right? Green Bay, Buffalo, and Tennessee. All teams that are kind of winning now. All teams that have stability in terms of good head coaches, good culture. They all have a starting quarterback. They all have these things that you need to win. And clearly, that's what Houston doesn't have.
From the viewers, Rick Haglund says, Texas size problems? From the Puck and Pigskin podcast, everything's bigger in Texas. That's why I took my wife there for a holiday. Dak Prescott, by the way, with the Dallas Cowboys. I am getting tired of the story, but Brad Sham will be on, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, to maybe sort out where they're going. So I'm not going to spend any more time on Dak Prescott and what's going on with the Cowboys because Brad Sham will answer it. Point 5, Canadian Football League notes. Just breaking news this morning, I see from our buddy Matt Baker, the voice of the BC, or the PR guy for the BC Lions. Maybe the next voice of the BC Lions, but Brandon Rutley has retired from the British Columbia Lions. This less than 24 hours after Ricky Collins Jr.'s retired from the Canadian Football League in a 5-6-year career in the CFL. I got football guys writing me from the States that are going, what does this mean? Like one guy, Cooper Campbell in Mississippi, I don't mind saying his name. He's like, Ricky Collins was just on your show last week saying that he wants a contract. He wants to come back and play, and now he retires? He never said anything about retiring. I said, Cooper, clearly he didn't get the offer that he's looking for. The guy's got to work, man. Let's remember, these guys haven't been paid in 14, 15 months. That CFL money's long gone. And for some guys, unfortunately, in the case of Ricky, he's a father, married not that long ago. They got bills to pay. Brandon Rutley may be the similar situation. I'm not sure. But you could see where people would be saying, well, we're hearing they're going to the government. They're submitting proposals. Why are these guys retiring? Because at some point, you need to, sorry to say, grow up. especially when you have a family. Life gets real.
Life gets really real. And you're making $150,000. What do? You buy a bigger house than you did when you were making 60 or 50, right? You take on more expenses. You have a family. You do all these things. And they come with their own set of bills. So when you start living that $150,000 lifestyle, even if you're being responsible and saving a little bit, it's extremely hard to go back and take a pay cut to like 80 or 90, right? Even at that point. So you got to start thinking about your future.
Craig Campbell's watching at the Hockey Hall of Fame in downtown Toronto, and he says Bob Ridley to call his 4,000th career Medicine Hat Tigers game Saturday night in their home opener. Uncle Giggles! Bob Ridley, the voice of the Tigers, the dean, not only of Western Hockey League broadcasters, but of junior broadcasters. I'm sorry to keep steering this back to the Hall of Fame, but if anybody should go into the Hall of Fame, even the media wing, if you will, which is back like where they keep the janitors' tools, it's Rids. For all of junior hockey carrying the banner. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, and even now he still rolls up with his leather jacket on to the rink, into the broadcast. Yeah. It looks like $1 million, sounds like $1 million.
From the, I don't know. Just, I would think that Bob Ridley would... It's not the NHL Hall of Fame, it's the Hockey Hall of Fame, and I think Bob Ridley would be deserving of that. Argos hate. I just got to mention this. The Toronto Argonauts are signing everybody, and it's got everybody upset. Like, I mean everybody. Twitter this morning has gone crazy because what got moved up to the number one free agent in the Canadian Football League, linebacker Enoch Mwamba, he's been holding out. We've been in free agency for 2 weeks, and he hasn't signed with anybody because he's holding out for the most money. And the Toronto Argonauts are just spending like a drunken sailor on leave for the weekend, right? And people don't understand where the money's coming from. I've said it before. You weren't listening. I will say it again. This is the way John Murphy does business. He learned it from his mentor, Chris Jones, most recently of the Cleveland Browns. They sign at free agent time in the offseason. And I said a few years ago when we had him here in Saskatchewan, Travis Bond is a great example. He was one of the top offensive linemen on the market in American. Riders signed him. People were saying, where'd they get the money? Just before camp, they cut him. But I'll give you another tremendous example. 2018 season. Remember coming out of training camp? Who did they cut? Rob Bagg, Bakari Grant, and Chad Owens. And I know Brad Sham's watching from Dallas right now. These names wouldn't mean a lot to him, but you CFL fans would mean a ton to you. These are Hall of Fame guys. And coming out of training camp just before week one, they cut all those guys. So I'm not saying that's what the Argos are doing, but I'm saying this is a Murphy M.O. who's running the Toronto Argonauts. So pay attention. And I think... I was visiting with a guy this morning. MLSE, which owns the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Raptors, Toronto FC Soccer, and now the Toronto Argonauts. Do you think they are really paying attention to what money the Argos might lose? Really?
Got FU money.
Right. We're paying Marner what? $11.2 million this year, and we're worried about a couple $100,000.
Let it walk in. Buy them all. Buy them all. I don't want anybody else to have them. We'll figure out what to do with them later.
You saw Kyle Lowry, it came out, wants to play for the 76ers. Did you see that report?
Yeah.
Well, let him go because we got to pay for Cam Judge and Charleston Hughes. Point 6. Real quickly here. Joshua Palmer. I was on a Zoom call yesterday. He is the highest rated Canadian receiver for the CFL draft and the NFL draft. He's from Brampton, Ontario. He played for the Tennessee Volunteers, NCAA football, and he was in the Reese's Senior Bowl here a couple of weeks ago, scored a touchdown. I was on a Zoom with him yesterday, and I know we're running out of time here, right? Yeah, we're running out of time. We'll come back on this because John Frenzy wants to talk about CFL rankings, but he talked about the Canadian invasion into the NBA. I can't name all those guys because I'm not the biggest NBA guy, but Jamal Murray, who's the kid that the Minnesota drafted high? Yeah, you're not the biggest. But you know all the Canadian.
I know who he is.
All the Canadian. Andrew
Wiggins.
Thank
you.
All those kids, and they're all from Toronto area, went down into the NBA, just flooded the NBA. He says he wants to be part of the movement from Canadian players flooding the NFL, and that includes Chase Claypool. And what does that mean for the Canadian Football League? We will debate that. We're out of time. The Canadian Elite Basketball League announced their schedule yesterday. They trimmed it to 14 games. It'll start June 5th. We wanted to mention that because we're big partners with them. And our rock star of the day yesterday was Eddie Lack, NHL great goaltender who joined us from Arizona. Fans voted him the best. We're going to talk Dallas Cowboys and all the NFL stories when we come back. It's the RP Show, and this has been the warm-up for Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the NHL and UFC. You're watching on Game Plus TV network across all 10 provinces in 31 states, live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and listen live for Suds full-service car wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm not being rude. I'm tweeting the poll question because I didn't get to it in the warm-up. Which happens first in the National Football League here for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center? A Russell Wilson trade, J.J. Watt signing, a Deshaun Watson trade, or a Dak Prescott signing? Which one of those happens first? You can vote on Facebook or Twitter. Now it's for Capital Auto Mall and Universal Collision Center. Okay, we got Hall of Fame Riders broadcaster here, John Frenzy, with us, and we're bringing in Hall of Fame Dallas Cowboys broadcaster Brad Sham from the great state today. And maybe that, hey, good day, Brad. Happy New Year to you, sir. I know it's a little late for that, but we haven't seen you in 2021.
RP, same to you, and that's fine. Listen, you can help me, I hope, with a little problem.
Sure.
I am completely admiring that sweatshirt you're wearing so much that I have gone to CFL.ca shop, and I can get merchandise from any team, but I can't find on their website a way to buy that. How do I get that?
Probably a garage sale, Brad, because this was from the 2012 Grey Cup in Toronto, to be honest with you. That would be my guess. But we'll talk with the CFL. Yeah, because they watch every day. Sir,
okay, great.
If you don't mind, what would be your answer to that?
Answer your poll question? May I answer your poll question?
What would be your answer to that?
My answer to that would be a J.J. Watt signing. I think that's the easiest one. I think he's down to, it sounds like from what I'm reading, he's down to maybe 3 teams. I think there are, with the trades, there are a lot of moving parts. I personally believe, without any hard evidence that I could show you, that the Cowboys are going to get a long-term deal done with Dak. I don't think, I'm looking at my calendar, I don't think it will happen until, I think it's the 9th of March when is the last day to apply the tag. I think they would prefer to find a deal they can make before it gets to having to tag him. They will tag him if they have to, because you then have until July to do a long-term deal. I think they understand that there's something emotionally for him that he would not like to be tagged. That's how players are. This is not about the player in my mind. It's about the agent. But that's part of the business. But I do believe they'll sign him, but I think it'll be easier for Watt to sign first.
Thank you.
Watson now says he wants out of Houston. He says he's determined to go. The new coach says no way. The new general manager says no way. Who's going to win that battle? It's an ugly situation.
It's almost criminal that they let it get to that point, because for fans, if you try to just put yourself in each position, you can see how complicated it is. But the team can say, look, we're new here. Your coach is new. Your GM's new. We're not part of any of the stuff that's gone on. But here's the deal. You got a contract. There's no way we think we can get value for you. And so we want to have a mutually harmonious relationship, and we'll bend over backwards. Remember, we weren't part of the problem before. But the deal is you've got a contract. And it's nearly impossible for us to trade you and get value. And so if it's really your choice to sit out and not get any of that money, that's your choice. You can do that. It doesn't sound smart, but that would be my opinion, but you can do that. They could work with one of the teams that's in the quarterback market. The problem is, unlike one of the rookies, he comes with a contract. And so it's got to be a team who can absorb the contract. And that was certainly the case with the Philadelphia Eagles and Wentz. So that's why that one's hard to resolve. And Jerry Jones, who is, if nothing else, a tremendous businessman, has always said, don't let your money get mad. And I think that's pretty good advice. Those of us without any money may not be able to relate to it, but I think that it's good advice. And so that's something in the Watson case that I think both sides have to think about.
What about the fans in Houston? They're great football fans. They must really be upset and ticked off.
Sure. I mean, but J.J. Watt, they've already divorced from J.J. Watt, the club. I mean, that's like unthinkable. And sure, I think that those folks down there probably, here's the one thing that, and I try to say this to people, whether you're pulling for a college or a professional team, you're probably pulling for the team that your grandfather pulled for. And then your father, and then you, and then your kids or nieces and nephews. And so team presidents and owners come and go. General managers come and go. Coaches and managers come and go. Players come and go. You know who always stays the same?
Fans.
We do. The fans are always there. And they're always there through good or bad. And ultimately, my personal belief is that the team says, yeah, I can't worry about the fans. I just can't worry about what they want because I'm running a business. The player's running a brief career. And they'll all say we owe a great debt to our fans. We're nothing without our fans. We love our fans.
Oh, boy. I hope that comes back because we're hanging on his every word. This is the voice of the Dallas Cowboys joining us. And Clark's he'll only be gone for a second or two. Maybe he's got to refresh. Boy, this is
great stuff.
Fascinating stuff. Yeah, great stuff.
Sure is.
As Rick Hanglin says, don't let your money get mad. That sounds real, regardless of scale.
That's right.
That's what I was just going to ask Brad Sham. Can we just back up the truck and explain the Jerry Jones motto, one of them, don't let your money get mad, because it went by so fast. Zing. What's the literal definition of don't let your money get mad? I've never heard that before. No, I don't think anybody's heard that.
Me neither. He's got lots of them, though.
Yeah. And I'd go one further because, and Clark will let me know the second Brad Sham's back with us. A couple of minutes. A couple of moments or minutes? There's a difference. Okay. Where he said the fans are there no matter what through thick and thin, yet they're not the first ones consulted or even thought of because those presidents, GMs, coaches, what are they doing, Lynch? Covering their own butt.
Yeah, covering their own butt. But it seems to be a very complicated situation. I guess this kid just doesn't want to stay there anymore. He's had enough of Houston and the screw-arounds and all the fiascos they've gone through there, and he's a great quarterback. No question about that. I think he'd be fantastic with the Chicago Bears. What do you think of that?
Well, who knows? Russell Wilson could end up with the Bears. He was on his list of teams to be traded to. Your guys watching in New York, Lynch. Joe Lazito, he says, I don't have my money long enough for it to get mad. LOL. And we got you, Brad Sham. Let's bring him back in. I got to take you right back. We were hanging on your every word, yeah. Brad, and then I think you got a ding, a text, a call, an email, something.
No, my computer decided now is when it needed to completely reboot.
Okay, I'm just glad it's not us. You have to explain. Don't let your money get mad. None of us have ever heard it up here in Canada, Brad. What would be your explanation of that saying of Jerry Jones?
Well, Jerry, by the way, if you stick around him long enough, Jerry will say a lot of things you never heard before. It's pretty entertaining.
Right.
What that means is when you're doing business, don't be emotional. Don't make a bad business decision. If business is your business, don't make a bad business decision because your emotions got in the way. So he would be saying to the Texans, and I suspect that he's saying it right now in his own personal, along with his son Stephen and with Will McClay, and as they deliberate with Dak Prescott's agents. Look, they tried to get him for what they wanted to pay him for the last couple of years. His agent, I think, had some reasonable points from the agent's point of view, not from the club's point of view. But so now they're in a position where they either have to, their salary cap's going to be a problem if they have to tag him again. If they let him go or tag him and trade him, you're giving up a lot. That means a lot to the franchise and the community. And frankly, look at all his advertisers. He's got a relationship as the Cowboys quarterback with practically the whole country. And you're also sending a big message to your locker room if you don't re-sign that guy. And so he's going to overpay for what he wants to pay. And his money getting mad would be, screw it. I'm not paying that guy $40 million. I'm not paying him $42 million, whatever it's going to take. Well, that would be your money getting mad. Okay, don't pay him. And then figure out whatever's going to be next. The smart thing to do is swallow hard, pay him more than you want to pay him because that's what it costs right now, and then go ahead and be a smart football businessman. That would be your money getting mad.
Yeah, so it's an old concept. Jerry put a name on it, basically, is what we're saying here. But
sure.
But we're all watching the game, Cowboys fan here, and I do have to ask you this. In the case of Dak Prescott, the injury was so ugly, Brad. Where is he in his rehab, by the way? Is he even going to be ready to go?
I think he's good. I think he's good. It's a bone. It was a bad break and a multiple break, and you had to repair a bunch of stuff, but it wasn't a knee ligament. It wasn't a shoulder structure. He's been rehabbing really hard. I have not heard one thing that leads me to believe that he will not be completely ready for training camp. And frankly, as they get into this period here where negotiations and free agency and all that becomes more pressing, their history's always been that they are deadline deal makers. And they've even said many times themselves, deadlines make deals. So the only reasons that I can conceive of that they would not do a long-term deal with him, even one they didn't choose to do, would be A, something is wrong physically that no one has been able to ascertain. There hasn't been one whisper that anything is wrong with his rehab, that his leg won't be fine, that he won't be 100%. The only other thing I can think of is if they evaluate him, they look at the salary, they look at the potential rookie crop of quarterbacks with all these quarterbacks coming in, and they say, we're not 100% convinced he's our guy, and we've got the 10th pick, and we can turn it into that guy, and we like that better. That would be thoroughly inconsistent with everything they have ever said and the way they have acted about how they feel about it. They have always indicated publicly and privately they believe in him completely as a quarterback. He's their guy, and so that's why I think they're going to do a deal with him.
Brad, we got a lot of questions from our viewers. Would you be so kind as to hold through a break? Would you be able to do that, or do you got somewhere you got to go?
Yep. No,
okay.
It's a pandemic. Where am I going?
Okay, thank you so much, because we got a ton of questions from the viewers. The voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham, is with us, and we'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show across the Game Plus TV network, across all 10 provinces and 31 states, live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live. Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us through the break. Specifically, our guest, Brad Sham, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, joining us from Dallas today. And we're going to jump right into those questions from viewers as promised. DG in Saskatoon writes in, Brad, he says, morning, guys. Really excited to hear from Brad Sham. Curious how he thinks Dan Quinn will run the defense differently than Mike Nolan. Hopefully better, and what positions he thinks they focus on in the draft. Two-part question there for you, Brad.
Well, I think that Mike Nolan's, first of all, if you ask most people, I think, with a blank slate, okay, you can have Dan Quinn or Mike Nolan run your defense. Who do you want? I just think most NFL people would take Dan Quinn. And then they just had a horrible situation to walk into in the pandemic with no off season and no training camp to speak of and no preseason. And it was just awful. And they made some really serious coaching blunders in trying to do too much. They tried to fit square pegs into round holes. That's not good coaching. At least Quinn's been through that as the head coach of the Falcons, and he kind of knows. I think they won't have OTAs. They'll have it virtual again. So there's some slight technical differences in their schemes. But the most important thing is, which I think Quinn has been spending his time doing now, he's got to evaluate his personnel and decide how he can play with what he has. And then you supplement what he has with free agency in the draft, and then you kind of go from there. As far as what they need, just about everything. But I personally think they have a great need for a dominating defensive tackle. They clearly need help in the secondary. They have to decide which among their 3 or 4 4-year veteran free agents who are now out of contract they want to keep are worth keeping. And they probably need 2 corners and 1 or 2 safeties. And then you may find yourself in a position where when it's your turn to draft, Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State who opted out last year, and in every mock draft that I've seen, he's gone anywhere from 5th to 15. I saw him play in the Cotton Bowl. I broadcast the Cotton Bowl on radio 2 years ago when Penn State played in it, and I watched tape of the guy, and he blew me away, and he was just a sophomore then. So I'm a big believer that if you pick the best player, whether he is what you need at most at the moment or not. I don't want him to reach for a corner because they think they need a corner and pass up a guy who's a potential Hall of Fame linebacker. You take the better player and figure out how to use him. So those are all the draft problems, but they desperately need help in the secondary and the interior of the line.
John Frenzy's got questions for you. There's no way we'll get to them all, but Randolph Zora wants to know, Brad, what's your favorite era of Cowboys football in your time calling the games, which is 40 plus years?
Yeah, this would be 43. So I've been fortunate enough to be part of the end of the Landry era, and I came in when they were still in Super Bowl mode, and then most of the 90s. I think that for mostly personal reasons, I would pick the 90s because when I started, I was the same age as the players. Then the guys in the 90s, I was kind of like their big brother. Now there's some of them I could be their grandfather, I suppose, which is truly depressing. So I'll be going to lie down in a moment. I think that I'm close to some of the guys from the 90s teams, Aikman and Johnston and Woodson and Irvin and Emmitt Smith. And I have personal relationships with a lot of those guys, so I'd probably pick that one.
Great answer.
I just wonder about Mike McCarthy coming over from the Packers. I didn't think he was really into it last year. I know you won't want to comment like that, but are you looking forward to him having a better year this year? Should we put it that way?
Well, I'm looking forward to all of them having a better year. What do you mean by not into it?
I just don't think he was really into it like he was in Green Bay. Stunned sometimes, looking around, didn't know what to do.
I made some questionable decisions.
I'd push, questionable decisions, 100%. I would push back on not into it. If anything, after the year off that he had, fired in the middle of 18, took all of 19 off, bunch of his also out-of-work coaching buddies, and they formed a kind of an ad hoc staff and broke down tape around the league and tried new things for all of the 19 season. I think he started 2020 probably more into it than he had been in a very long time. I think they were all, and most of them around the league, were unprepared for the way the pandemic would affect how you coached. And I think some of the things that they did wrong as a staff, he's the head coach. You have to lay him at his feet. But and questionable decisions, yes, there were some of those that we don't understand, but not into it. I don't think that was the case.
Yeah. That was my comment, questionable. Lynch's was not into it. We have 3 minutes and 2 questions. Ryan in Albany, New York. Hi, Brad. My New York Jets hold the number 2 spot in the draft. If the Cowboys don't sign Dak, do they try to make a trade with the Jets to get a quarterback like Zach Wilson or Justin Fields?
That's something that would make sense. You'd have to then do a sign and trade on a tag. But that's so problematic. The question is if, and if they don't sign him, then almost anything's possible. But now if you're the Jets, what else? What else besides Dak do you want? What else is involved? It's not as easy a trade to make as it sounds.
And I have to ask you this is mine personal. I had a tour of AT&T Stadium when it was Cowboys Stadium. Being the radio nerd that I am, I was searching for your booth. And if this is the field, you're like here, way out here, right in the corner. I saw it. How do you call a game? How do you call a game from there?
We are fortunate to have the world's largest television screen hanging over the middle of the field, and it doesn't show the television broadcast. It has a dedicated in-house live shot. Now, they don't always show me what I want to see. You can see what's happening. You can't always see real well who's doing it, but I have great spotters, and I have learned just enough how to fake it to make it sound good.
No kidding, obviously. Okay, Brad, thank you. We're going to let you go. I hope we can do it again. Always fun.
Thanks,
yeah,
Brad.
me too. Anytime you want.
All right, thank you. The voice of the Dallas Cowboys, Brad Sham. A sports update before we break. Mike Smith made 32 saves for the shutout, and Connor McDavid had a goal and an assist as the Edmonton Oilers beat the Canucks 3-0 in Vancouver. Smith still perfect this season at 6-0 since returning from injury. Kyle Connor scored 2 goals, and the Winnipeg Jets spoiled the debut of the Montreal Canadiens' new head coach Dominic Ducharme with a 6-3 victory at Bell MTS Place. And the Ottawa Senators are starting to heat up. Colin White had a pair of goals as Ottawa beat the Calgary Flames 6-1 for their first 3-game win streak of the season. American Hockey League Thursday night, Bridgeport beat Providence 3-2. The Bakersfield San Jose game was postponed. And the Cleveland Indians plan to have 10,000 fans inside Progressive Field for home games in April. The team announced they're hosting 30% of capacity at their downtown ballpark, which was off limits to fans last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Draw 19 coming up. It's the first round of the championship this afternoon at the Scotties in Calgary. It is Alberta versus Quebec, Saskatchewan versus Canada, Ontario versus Wildcard 1, Manitoba versus Wildcard 3. The sports update for Ballers Rec Room. They can handle all your food and fun needs. Visit their website at ballersrecroom.com. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. More with John Frenzy when we come back. You're watching the RP Show's Flame Tech Football Friday on Game Plus, YouTube and Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed. IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
John Frenzy here, too, on a Flame Tech Football Friday. Flame Tech is your industry leader in combustion services, and it's the viewer takeover segment, as we always do. And so let's go. Wayne in Victoria, BC says that was a very good and entertaining interview with Brad Sham. Thanks, Rod and crew. The voice of the Dallas Cowboys. Just seems like a guy that would join us for coffee, doesn't he, Lynch?
Sure does. Legendary voice, by the way. Yeah, I think he'd join us for coffee and feel right at home. And the stories he could tell, eh?
Oh, could you imagine? Yeah. Randolph Zora says, I'm going to lobby at work to get Fridays off so I never miss the show. Good luck. Good luck. Trent Bruner is watching in Norway, and he says, do the Cowboys draft picks understand the standard for success the former greats showed when they played? I don't think on any team they do. Any franchise. They're young. They're dumb. What were we when we were young, Lynch?
Dumb.
Young and dumb.
I think they'd be told it, but I don't think they'd hear it. It wouldn't sink in. Hey, how about that?
Well, it helps. There have been coaches, and I'm not going to name who, with teams that I've been around that block alumni from coming anywhere near the dressing room or locker room.
Yeah.
And I think that is a huge mistake. A huge mistake. Now, they were successful coaches, so that's their own thing.
Yeah.
But I think having those guys around, like in Montreal, somebody asked, Ryan McCarthy's probably watching right now from Albany, New York. He said, no, it was the guy in St. Louis, Joe, who said to me, why would anybody be a Canadiens fan? Montreal. Go there sometime. Those greats are around all the time. They welcome them in.
Yep.
When I was there, Jean Beliveau was just hanging around.
Yep.
Henri Richard, Yvon Cormier. In Dallas, I think those Cowboys greats are around from what I can see. But yeah, that's what banners are for, right, Lynch?
That's what banners are for.
For your young players to see. See, this is what you can achieve.
Yeah.
You know?
It depends the attitude of that kid, that's the newcomer, I'm thinking, the draftee. Is he really into it? Does he really want to pay for Cowboys? Does he know what they're all about? But I think somebody there would, because they got the 5 Super Bowls. That's pretty darn good, really. I'm sure somebody makes them aware of how good the Cowboys have been.
You would hope.
Oh, yeah. I would hope.
I'm just saying. By the way, John Frenzy, Hall of Fame Rough Riders broadcaster, his appearances are brought to you by Wheaton Kia, which, that reminds me, I didn't put this up today. Wheaton Kia, you can find them in North Regina, corner of Albert and Avonhurst. We do want to get into the CFL talk. It is a Flame Tech Football Friday. We only got a couple of minutes left. John, you have some strong thoughts on the placement of the CFL draft this year.
I can't believe it's the 15th of April, 2 weeks before the NFL draft, which is April 29th. So the CFL will have their draft all done by the time the NFL goes to draft. And what's happened in the past, of course, we've drafted after the NFL drafts because we want to see what they've done in drafting people that we think we got a chance of getting in the CFL. And then you get a chance at them, and you make the draft, and sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Now, you're not even going to know. So I think there could be some teams that won't draft anybody when they get the choice. It's very strange. I don't understand it. Somebody said, well, they're going to go after the big shots, Lynch. What's wrong with you? They're going to go after the big shots. They're sick and tired of the Yankees taking all those big shots. Yeah, sure. It's a goof. I think it's probably a goof, quite frankly. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's Lynch's rant. I'm not feeling as strong as I said to you in the car ride on the way up here. There's a gargantuan difference now between the NFL and the CFL in a lot of different ways. And it doesn't matter who's drafted now. If you go on the CFL draft ahead, but then in 2 weeks you go to the NFL draft, what's the difference, John? You're going to the NFL, and we'll never see him. Yeah. By the way, the curling report is for Verge Agriculture. Hearts rookie Beth Peterson of Team Wildcard 3 played like a veteran Thursday at the Scotties with her draw weight in form when she needed it most. Peterson stole a single in the 10th and added another steal in the extra end for a 9-8 victory over Carrie Galusha of the Territories. The win gave the young Manitoba-based skip a top 4 spot in Pool A at 5-3 and a berth in the championship pool in her first ever appearance at the Scotties. Ontario's Rachel Holman beat Canada's Carrie Einerson 7-4 in a rematch of last year's Scotties final. Both teams moved to 7-1. Alberta's Laura Walker locked up the other Pool A berth. Saskatchewan's Sherry Anderson, Manitoba's Jennifer Jones, Quebec's Laurie St. George, and Wildcard 1's Chelsea Carey made the cut. We'll talk about more next hour. It's brought to you by Verge Agriculture. You're watching a Flame Tech Football Friday on Game Plus.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends. Yeehaw, we're going to Texas.
We still can't win. Worst team in the NFL, worst defense historically in the history of the NFL. And since Dak Prescott got hurt, the worst offense. Whose fault is it that this team is the worst since the 1-15 of 1989? Whose fault? There's only one person higher than Jerry Jones with the Dallas Cowboys, and it's God. So fire the coach. Isn't that always the answer, Al?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome inside the bunker. It is a Flame Tech Football Friday, and Hall of Fame writer broadcaster John Frenzy sticking with me here into hour two. This is the second half kickoff, and I'm jumping right into the pool other than to clear up a couple of things. One, I rattled off our curling report near the end of hour one for Verge Agriculture, but I didn't put in the tag. Helping farmers plan and optimize their operations across every field. Visit vergeag.com to learn more today. Just give them a follow on Twitter and you'll find out more what Verge Ag is all about. Their Twitter feed is titled @VergeAgro. And John Frenzy went off on a tirade near the end of hour one about the CFL draft being April 15th. And I don't care as much about it as John does. But Lauren in Kamloops has pointed out the global draft is April 15th, where they draft Europeans and Mexicans. but the actual Canadian college draft, the date has not been specified yet. But here's an interesting thing. In the break, I just went to Google 2021 CFL draft. Most asked question, will the CFL come back in 2021? That's, when they pop up, the most asked Googled things. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I want to mention, too, you see over my show, we're at over $500,000 already in the 50-50 lottery. I can't thank you enough. If you haven't bought your tickets, folks, please do so now because we're making the draw tonight. You want to be in on the 50-50. You get a chance to win half this pot. But more importantly, help out the Kinsman Foundation, which is helping people every day improve their quality of life and independence through gifts of mobility equipment and medical travel assistance. See what we're saying? The Kinsman pays for a motorized wheelchair, pays for out-of-province medical help that we can't handle here in Saskatchewan. How important is that?
Big time.
So you can buy a ticket, 1 for $20, 5 for $50, or 20 tickets for $100, or 100 tickets for $250. Go to telemiracle5050.ca. The draw is live right now, and we'll be drawing tonight and announcing it tomorrow, just prior to the start of Telemiracle 45, which Darren and I will be live on. I'm going to skip past the quick six show topics and jump right in, because it is a Flame Tech Football Friday, to our NFL insider, Tori Gurley. Let's bring him on in. Former Green Bay Packers and Cleveland Browns wideout and our go-to. What lid you got on there today? Tori, what are you wearing? What is that? I like it.
Wearing our NFL PA hat.
You're repping the union. I gotcha. Okay, Tori, I'm just going to lob you a softball here first, which is our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. What happens first? Russell Wilson gets traded, Deshaun Watson gets traded, J.J. Watt signs somewhere, or Dak Prescott signs with the Cowboys? Which of those happens first?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to say J.J. Watt, signs a contract with the team.
Okay, well, Brad Sham was with us last hour, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, and he said the exact same thing. So if you're a team that signs him, and what did he say they're down to? Tennessee, Buffalo?
Chicago, he said too.
Did he? Yeah.
Chicago.
Who do you think is going to get him?
Honestly, I'm pulling for the Packers. I think it's a great fit because he's a hometown kid, and JJ is all about family and football, and if he can have his immediate family there at his games at Lambeau Field without them having to travel as far, I think that would be something he truly considers, and it's also an opportunity for him to play with Aaron Rodgers in a pretty stout defense.
Okay, well, Green Bay is on the board. That's one of the three teams, and we're watching it very closely. But of these other topics, I'm sure you're following what's going on with Russell Wilson, and apparently I've read it correctly. He's like, here's my list of teams I would be traded to, Mr. Carroll, but I'm not asking for a trade. Don't get it twisted. This is just, if you did trade me, this is where I'd like to go. Why would somebody do that?
He has that no trade clause, and that's what you pay agents for, is to have that type of paperwork or language in a contract, so you don't get drafted to or not drafted, but you don't get sent to the worst team in football or football Siberia. So with him naming those 4 squads, all of those are contenders, and they're a quarterback away from being in the hunt. So I applaud Russell for that, because most guys, they don't have that type of leverage where you get traded for a stick of gum and some trash bags is not worth it at the end of the day.
Frenzy, what do you got for Tori?
Bill Belichick, what's going to happen now with the New England Patriots? And what's going to happen with their quarterback situation?
To be continued. I have no clue what's going on in New England. We have to trust the New England way, but Bill he's a mastermind in football, and it wouldn't shock me if he gave up some of that draft capital to move up the board, or if he went out and got his old quarterback in Jimmy G, the same quarterback that he was willing to push Tom Brady out of the door for. So that lets me know that, he has some options out there what New England can bring into starting.
Cam Newton won't be there, do you think?
You can go get Jimmy G and have Cam Newton as a backup, because Cam is playing on a rookie minimum, well, not a rookie, but a vet minimum contract. So you can have 2 quarterbacks in New England, and Cam could be getting paid the league minimum compared to someone like Jimmy G making a few 10 or 12 million over him just by the leverage that Cam, is stuck with being a free agent.
Can Cam do the job? Or not Cam. Can Jimmy G do the job?
I think he can in New England. If you give him an opportunity to go out there and compete, I think he's definitely a guy that can get it done because he's been in that system. He's been successful, and that's what New England is looking for.
I'm just reading some comments from our YouTube viewers and Facebook viewers from the Puck and Pigskin podcast. He's had a few comments here. He says, okay, Russell Wilson to Las Vegas and Derek Carr to Dallas. I think he's just getting silly there. He says, all right, time to talk about what the CFL isn't doing. I'm not interested in talking about what the CFL isn't doing either. So we're going to move on from that. But he talks about Juju Smith-Schuster wanting out of Pittsburgh. I mean, how do you feel about players wanting out of their current environments? Deshaun Watson is a great example of that. They say this relationship is beyond repair, Tori. If you're the coach or GM of the Texans, let's say the GM, how are you handling Deshaun Watson? Because he met with the coach the other day, and it didn't change his mind. So what are you doing with Deshaun? Oh, we lost him. Okay, now Clark tells me that he's back. Things are getting wonky here. If you're the GM of the Houston Texans, what are you doing with your star quarterback who says he will never play for you again?
You got to let him walk. Something you don't want to do is have that negative energy walking around the building. They've already showed their hand by what they did with J.J. Watt and how they're trying to move forward. And if Deshaun Watson wants to be out of there, I think you should grant him that because that you can bring in someone who really wants to be there and can help you win. And not saying that Deshaun would go out and sabotage a team, but if the leader doesn't want to be there, what make you think the other 52 guys are going to be willing to play as well? So I just think you should just cut your losses and move on.
Sounds good, but who would really want to be there? I don't think there's any quarterback that would really want to be there. Do you? In Houston?
I think if Cam Newton is a backup in New England, I think Houston looks amazing to him right now. So Jameis Winston, he's in a quarterback battle in New Orleans with Taysom Hill. So there are a lot of guys who want to be a starting quarterback in the National Football.
I don't know what's going on. We got some tech gremlins going on here today. So listen, I'm going to ask one more question of Tori. You guys want to bring him out? Bring him out, and then bring him back in, and then we'll get on to the rest of the topics here and let Tori get on with his day. Tori, you do have a very exciting... Will you tell me when he's ready? No, and he's gone. Lynch, it's not our day.
No, it's not our day. What's happening there? Interesting, though. Cam Newton's talking about still wanting to play and indicates he'd like to stay in New England, but I don't think they want him there.
It's unbelievable. We're talking... I guess time flies, but... We're talking about the former MVP of the National Football League, Cam Newton, who can't find a place to play. And I'm sorry. Well, I want to bring him on. Yeah, because that's why he wanted to come on. So, Tori, okay, we're having connection issues. So, listen, I'm just going to put it to you, and then we'll let you go. This Sunday, you got a very important event going on. Tell folks how they can participate with home field advantage.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys, the Rod Pedersen Show, for allowing me to come on here and talk about Home Field Advantage is my company. I help young men and young women get the opportunity to be recruited for Division I, Division II, or Division III. Business has been going extremely well. I'm helping guys get scholarships and get placed in some of the most prestigious universities, from Oregon to Harvard to Yale to the University of South Carolina to Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama. Literally every Division I coach I'm in contact with, I work for you guys. But long story short, this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm having a Zoom call. And a Zoom call is an all-sports seminar catered to every parent or kid who wants to get recruited. Because I get the same emails and same phone calls daily about, hey, how can you help my son? So what I'm doing is at the end of every month, at the last Sunday of every month, I'm going to have a Zoom call. It's $40. The link is in my social media bios, where you guys can go on my website, torigurley.com, or you can go to the link that's connected to all my social media, Twitter, Instagram. You sign up, and we're going to have this call, and I literally walk you guys through the things that I do on a daily. And it's for all sports. It's basketball, football, soccer. Recruiting is the same, no matter how you cut it. If it's football, basketball, lacrosse, whatever it is, I can help prepare you and your parents on how to get yourself on track to get recruited. Or if you wanted my assistance from there, I can point you in that direction as well. But me just educating the parents, because it's unfortunate that right now the NCAA has a dead period, and that means that Division I schools are not allowed to go on the road and recruit guys. So the only way you can be recruited right now is getting on the phone with the coach. But what I do is I educate my parents, I educate the players on how to have conversations with these people, because you're being evaluated. And if you don't get the job done in the first 5 to 10 seconds, that coach has moved on to the next kid, because there's just too many guys or too many young ladies in this world to be stuck on one. So that's how I help give kids that competitive advantage, so you can get your name out there and get recruited and be like a Chase Claypool, a guy that was in Canada, and now he went to Notre Dame and went from Notre Dame to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I walk people through that process.
So it's Sunday, Zoom call, $40 to register. Go to Tori's social media, Gurley81 for the link. Sir, thank you so much for coming on and the insights, and good luck on Sunday.
Thanks for having me.
All right, there we go. Our NFL insider, Tori Gurley, helping graduating prospects get noticed and get recruited into the NCAA. You guys tell us when we're eligible for a break. We got Dave Naylor coming up. Let's rattle this real fast. Jordan, the quick 6 show topics. What the heck, if you don't mind. This is where we started today. Thursday NHL leftovers. And here's my number one. The cream has risen to the top in the National Hockey League's Scotia North Division, and it is, by name, Toronto, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. And everybody else is fighting in the muck for the 4th and final playoff spot. There's more, but you can go to my Twitter for that. 2, it's opening night in the Western Hockey League. Free play to watch the home openers of Medicine Hat at Red Deer and Lethbridge at Edmonton. Go to WHL.ca for details. Point 3, fantastic curling on today. We covered it earlier in our curling report for Verge Ag. Draw 19, the first round of the championship goes this afternoon, 1:30 Central in the Calgary bubble. We just covered point 4, which is the NFL notes. Point 5 is the CFL notes, and we're going to get into that with Dave Naylor of TSN next segment. Ricky Collins Jr. retiring today. Brandon Rutley announcing his retirement today, and the Argo hate has been stirred up again. And we'll talk about Joshua Palmer, a Brampton, Ontario receiver who played with the Tennessee Vols, and he's trying to lead a Canadian invasion of the NFL. We'll talk about that and more as the program rolls on. This is the second half kickoff. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV Network, live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150 Explorer or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Flame Tech Football Friday continues here on Game Plus, YouTube, and Facebook Live. And, of course, Suds Full Service Car Wash brings you our Listen Live, which I'll be heading over to Suds the second this show's over, Lynn, to see Kirby.
Good to see Kirby.
He's a winner all the way.
Sure is. Kirby Gazelle.
By the way, our break, you probably haven't noticed. You people probably haven't noticed that our breaks are a little out of sequence because we're joining live Swiss League play-by-play coming up at quarter to the hour. It's SC Bern, which their team features Dustin Jeffrey and Corey Conacher, against EV Zug, and that team includes Justin Abdelkader and Carl Klingberg, former Detroit Red Wing. Justin Abdelkader. You can watch them in Swiss League hockey coming up at the 45 mark. So we got to leave you early today. Our digital broadcast will go right up until the top of the hour. From some of our viewers, the CFL fans have showed up today wanting to talk CFL because it's a Flame Tech Football Friday. Ricardo, the Argos fan, he says, I'm a Hamilton fan. I always dislike the Argos, regardless of what they do. Chris Bird in Toronto says, I hope there's a Labor Day Classic this year. Miss hitting Lot J before the game. And I'm going to have to slap around Jeff, the Stamps fan here. He's asked, what helmet is this S helmet? Lynch, do you want to take a stab at that? What is this S helmet right here, the white one?
Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Saskatchewan what?
Huskies.
Yes. You call yourself a football fan, Jeff in Calgary? You don't recognize this? And Richard, who's watching in Boston, Massachusetts, so I think he said it was an old USAS helmet one day. This is the current helmet of the Huskies. We drove to Saskatoon and picked it up. The head coach of the Huskies, Scott Flory, came out of his office and said, you guys, you didn't drive all the way here just for a helmet, did you? Yep. Had nothing else to do. We wanted to get out of the bubble. So this is what the Huskies, whenever they return to the field, that's what they'll be wearing.
Good coach.
And by the way, Mark Zosel, he's watching from Melfort, where they do the Melfort Shuffle. And he says, Suds Car Wash is a spa day for your vehicle. Can I say this? I was sitting getting my car done in the Suds, and it was like, my car deserves this. It's like a forehand massage on your car.
Yeah.
They wipe out the door jams. They got a blow thing that gets the water off around your mirror. Yeah, I'm going there today.
Great job.
CFL report as we await Dave Naylor. He's a little behind schedule here, so I don't know what's up with Nails, but this is from this morning. The BC Lions Football Club salutes the career of Brandon Rutley after the running back officially retired from football today. Rutley said from his home in California, it's hard to say goodbye, but I'm looking forward to the next chapter with my wife and our soon-to-be-born daughter. Playing football for a living was a blessing, and it truly was an honor to say I played my final couple of seasons with the BC Lions. The 31-year-old came to the Lions in a trade with the Montreal Alouettes in January of 2018 after recovering from a season-ending knee injury suffered in his lone appearance season. The bruising back emerged as one of the most vocal and respected leaders in 2019. He also became a fan favorite upon his arrival with the Lions, never turning down the opportunity to sign an autograph or take pictures with fans at both BC Place and the Surrey practice facility. Folks, this comes less than 24 hours after Ricky Collins Jr. announced his retirement. He is a former Eskimo, Lion, Rough Rider, and for a portion of time, the Green Bay Packers. And as I look at these comments from the viewers, Lynch, what do these retirements from the CFL to pretty big names mean, do you think? What read do you get out of this?
That they don't believe the CFL future is that's certain. They're concerned, very concerned. And they have to pay money to get groceries for their kids and family, and they want to keep on living a life, like normal life, and they don't know what's going to happen in the future of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and any team, really, because the league has definitely said what's going to happen. It's about time now they did. Getting close to that season, eh?
Well, what it says to me when you say the future of the CFL, I got the same read, but slightly different when I see these veteran big names retiring. It's that they don't believe there will be a season this year. And I do have to say, it's sad. To me, it's actually gut-wrenching to see these guys call it quits on a career because of a pandemic. It's hard enough to begin with at the best of times.
Yeah.
But when it's completely pulled out of your hands because of a virus and a government approach, it's even worse. And these guys are watching, obviously, the game being played in America, and they're wondering why not us. And that's not a road that I'm going to go down. Like I'd like to, but I'm not feeling up for the fight with people today.
Ricky Collins had a good year last year. And
outstanding, 1,400 yards. He's coming off his best career.
Yeah, he should be playing. That's why if they don't have football this year, can you imagine how many guys will be retiring? How many situations like this will drop up, will come up? So,
well, yeah, very interesting about Nails will be ready in 30 seconds, they say.
Well,
all these guys have young families, by the way.
Yep.
So here's a note to you young athletes that want to play ball, pro ball. Practice contraception. But just about all of these guys have families. They can't sit and wait. And unless you're Willie Jefferson, who's making big dough, because Willie's got a family too.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, when you got a family to support, you need to grow up. This is where we're at.
Right.
And this is not to say anything about 19, 20-year-old hockey players. Their careers are ending too.
By the end of this month, end of March for sure, there's got to be an announcement on what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree?
They were talking in my ear. What did you say?
By the end of March, there's got to be an announcement on what's going to happen.
I can't put a timeline on this. And Chris Bird in Toronto says what's happening to the CFL is what is happening to the middle class. It is shrinking and getting more and more stretched while the rich get richer. You nailed it, Chris. And you last week or earlier this week said that the rosters have to be cut, the coaching staffs. Now we have a hard out at the bottom of the hour, 1:30 Eastern, so we got about 5 minutes with Dave Naylor. But we will take it. Let's bring in Dave Naylor from TSN CFL Insider. Nails, good to see you, my friend. Far too long since I've seen you. What's the latest on the CFL's proposal to the government and return to play? How are you feeling about things?
Well, I feel pretty good about this. I mean, basically, you've got a two-pronged approach coming from the league to the levels of various provincial governments, health jurisdiction authorities, et cetera. And this is the first one, which is rolling out basically to say, here's how we would like to stage football games, practices, team activities as such. And on this one, they got a big head start, right? Because a lot of this stuff was worked through between the league and the Players Association last summer, specific to the Winnipeg bubble. But you can amend a lot of the protocols that you were using to develop team activities and playing football safely then to in the respective 9 stadiums. The other thing is that, a lot of this is going to be modeled on what's been done with the National Hockey League. And from what I'm led to believe, there are people that worked on the National Hockey League proposal that are involved in the CFL's proposal. There's some medical professionals that work for teams in both leagues. And so it's not like the CFL had to get out sort of a blank stack of paper, a month ago and say, gee, how do we do this? Like they've had a bit of a running head start at it. But this is the easy part, right? Like getting football games approved to be staged in a professional league. Yeah, it's got to be specific and it's got to be very comprehensive. But this is what I would think is the more likely check mark. The one that's more difficult is when we see proposals about putting fans in stadiums. And that's going to be a while because whether we've got, I'll just use Ontario as an example, whether we've got 1,000 new cases or 100 new cases a day in Ontario, I don't think the protocol that the league is submitting to the provinces really changes, But the protocol for stadium safety may be very different based on where the virus is, the vaccine rollout, the new variants, those kinds of things. So that one, I think, is a little more susceptible to the ever-changing conditions than this first one.
What is your read on veterans retiring? 2 in the last 24 hours. Brandon Rutley this morning and Ricky College Jr. Thursday.
I think it's 2 things. I think one is we knew that if you were not early in free agency, there wasn't going to be a lot of money left for most guys. So I'm sure these guys are getting offers that are like anybody in your career. When you've made a certain amount, used to playing for a certain amount of money, and then somebody asks you to play for less, that's just not something you're willing to do, especially in a case, of a guy like Ricky Collins, who had a 1,000-yard season last year with Edmonton. So, I mean, he's looking at it saying, hey, wait a minute, I proved myself in this league. I suspect, and this is my speculation, that it's not just the salaries they're being offered, but the uncertainty about whether they're going to play and if they're going to give up other things in their lives or turn down opportunities or things like that for a season that may or may not begin on time. I strongly believe not, and may or may not happen. I strongly believe will in some form. But I'm sure they're hearing the drumbeat that people in the media and otherwise are saying about the unlikelihood of a season starting on time. So, they understand, they do the math on their salaries. If you play 2/3 of a season, they're going to get 2/3 of their salary. You play half a season, they're going to get half a salary. So, and look, and I think we saw it with James Wilder last year. He retired, went and did some other things, opportunity to play again, boom, phone call away, right? So could these guys be back in the league if we're playing by August? Sure, they could. There's nothing preventing them from doing so, to my understanding. So, but I do think it is, I do think that was this a regular season with these guys, start everything sort of back to normal in the economics of the league standard? I'm sure there are players that would play in that environment that are not totally, excited about playing in this. I mean, and it goes back to last year, Rod. Like I had players last year tell me point blank, if we play a shortened season in a bubble in Winnipeg, I will not be there. No way, for 8 weeks pay. No. So, it's all sort of consistent with what we've been going through for a while.
And these guys that are retiring are all young fathers. These are men playing a boys' game, and they got to grow up. They got bills to pay. That's just the way. Yeah.
We see this in the CFL all the time. And when you see it usually is right at training camp, right? You ever notice when training camp opens, all of a sudden, like every team's putting out 3 or 4 releases of over the first, week before the start of training camp till the weekend, where there are all these guys who were, sitting on the fence till May. And then May comes and they got to make a choice. And some of them say, I'm going to camp. I'm going to Canada to play football. And others say, yeah, look at the circumstances of my life, I'm going to do something else. It happens every year. So it's not that exceptional, in this league where guys are not making, life-changing money.
Absolutely. Hey, my last one for you. We just got a couple minutes. Isn't it delicious to watch the angst at the Argos? The hate, actually, from CFL fans across the country at all their signings. What's your read on what's going down there?
Well, I think there are going to be some moves that are going to have to be made. I mean, the offseason, I always hear all these questions about, are they over the salary cap? Are they over the salary cap? Like, there's no offseason salary cap. Unless there's something here I don't know. I mean, the salary cap is essentially accounted at the end of a CFL season on how much you spent on players over the course of the season. And with so little signing bonus money being laid out in the offseason, that gives you lots of opportunities to sign guys without having to commit money. And that's, again, I don't know what the Argos plans are, but it's hard to sign guys with money up front and then cut them in training camp because that's money you've wasted off the salary cap. If you're not giving out signing bonus money, you can sign all the guys you want, and there's nothing stopping you from cutting guys before you get to the season. Because it would seem at certain positions they aren't going to have, they're not going to be able to carry everybody. And maybe this is just good competition. But the players going in, probably looking at that roster and knowing not all of them are going to see the field in week number 1.
Right, and they all think they won't be the one that gets cut because that's their mentality.
The way these guys think. Absolutely. That's the way they're trained to think. Yeah.
Right. All right, Nails, we got to run, but thanks. A lot of info here. I appreciate it. Stay well, my friend.
Yeah, sorry for the shortened segment with the technical delays. You want to do this again sometime soon, let me know, Rod. Great to be on.
Thank you so much. Thanks, David.
See ya. Bye.
David William Naylor joining us from TSN. Good friend of John Frenzy from back in the day.
Great guy.
Hey, real quick, great guy. Well, winner all the way, as you would say. Sports on tap tonight for the Tap Drive-Through Brewhouse and Liquor Store. National Hockey League, just 3 games tonight. Boston at the Rangers, LA Kings at Minnesota, and the Colorado Avalanche at the Arizona Coyotes. WHL tonight, it's opening night. 2 games, Medicine Hat Tigers at Red Deer, Lethbridge at Edmonton. 1 game in the queue. Halifax is at Cape Breton. And in the NBA tonight among their slate, it's the Houston Rockets against the Toronto Raptors in Tampa. We're going to pause, reminding everybody that we will be breaking away at 1:45 to join Swiss League Hockey, SC Bern against Zug here on Game Plus. Frenzy, you're taking off?
Taking off, yep.
All right.
Yep.
DuPont will be in here next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150 Explorer or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. While the world seems to be facing one challenge after another, our focus at FlameTech.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So, all kinds of comments from people. I'm just going to throw it into Dupes is here. I'm just going to throw it into viewer takeover now, right?
Sure.
What the heck? This is such a fun show. I got to go on a podcast. Got to do an interview in New York City at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 SAS time, and they want to talk about the Artemi Panarin situation. So between now and then, I need to figure out a lot more about the Artemi Panarin situation than I know.
And the KGB and the Kremlin. And
I know a little bit about that, believe it or not. So that's part of my day today, and then a meeting at 2:00, and it's busy. And somebody wants, listen, a nice guy, but he asked me, can you go for lunch? Lunch! There's not a lot of time to go for lunch in this world, I'm afraid. Norm Fong, the Hall of Fame equipment manager for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, is watching. He writes in, he says, Rod, it's sad to see the direction the CFL is heading into. Salaries keep getting cut, and it's usually the lowest people on the staff that suffer. He said the league will see 1/3 of the teams this year have new equipment managers because if you have a family, you can't make ends meet on the salaries now offered. That's sad to see. So that's coming from Norm Fong. And Normie, have you been reading my diary? Has he tapped my phone calls? Because these are the conversations I'm having with people across the country in sports and media. And somehow this came up earlier on with Bo Levi Mitchell. Somebody wanted to ask me to ask Tori if Bo Levi would get a shot and why he hasn't had a shot. Bo's had that shot. Here's Darren, who's a young guy in his early 30s, never married, no kids. Right? You got me. I'm in a situation with Bo. I get Bo. He's making great money in Calgary. He's got the keys to the castle. He's living in a beautiful city. He's the face of the franchise, one of the top guys in the CFL. If he were to go to the Minnesota Vikings, where he had that shot, he would have had to sign for far less and uproot his family. And I don't like to talk about this stuff with me because it makes me look like a loser to say, oh, yeah, I had this chance at Sportsnet. Oh, yeah, I had this chance at TSN. But that's true. But I wasn't willing to go for less money. And it's the same thing with Bo. I got 3 kids. Right, and this is my home. I don't really want to leave here because all of my family's here. So I get Bo. He's in a pinch. He could go to Minnesota and realize a dream. He'd have to fight Kirk Cousins for a starting job. But if you know Bo, he's not afraid of that. Right? He thinks he'd be the starting quarterback of the Vikings. But I get it. And with Ricky Collins and these guys, Naylor just said it. You're used to making a certain amount? You want me to work for what? No. Goodbye.
After I just did that,
right?
In the season that Ricky Collins
So that's why
had.
I kind of laugh when people say the rude things about me. Why aren't you in the NHL, Rod? Why aren't you in the NFL? You've done these things. You have the ability to be there. Because I can't work and won't work for what I believe, less than what I believe I'm worth.
Yeah.
Fair? But if you don't have a family and you're willing to sell your soul, sorry to say, in some cases.
Take a risk.
Or take a risk. I'm not a risk taker. And I never have been. But it's worked out for me because with 800 jobs whacked by Bell last week, with all these guys that frankly have put their balls on the table to go work in those major markets and sacrifice everything else and then get... I feel terrible for those guys.
I know.
And again, that's the kind of guys that I've been on the phone with.
That's right. And I have a lot more tolerance for risk, but it's why this works so well.
You don't have a family.
Right. There's a lot less on the table. Right?
Right. So... I went through the Sports on Tap, so just hang on to our TV viewers. And you guys tell me when we got to go. Now here comes all the comments in here. So we'll get to those. Just hang on. Doing a little tap dancing here. We're going live here on Game Plus to Swiss League Hockey. So stick with us digitally. For the rest, we'll see you Monday right here on Game Plus at noon Eastern. And they're telling me we're back live here digitally on YouTube and Facebook. Remember how it used to be like that?
Yeah.
Go run out and check the TV in the lobby and see if we're actually still on television right now.
Exactly.
Because, okay, they're telling me Swiss hockey is on. Okay, good. Now we can really get into it. We can drop F-bombs. Which we're not going to.
Anything goes.
The guys like that one, too. See, everybody just came alive in the comments section here on Flame Tech Football Friday. Do we have another commercial break left or do we not? We will have another one? Okay, so now we're back on schedule that way. Gary in Winnipeg says Rod Black, when early at TSN, turned down with one of the big 3 in the United States. Well, I don't think Rod Black is regretting that decision to stay at TSN, I wouldn't think.
No, he's a Swiss Army knife for them. He's got tons of value. Tremendous value.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, I felt bad for you earlier in the week because you wanted to talk football so bad and we were on hockey. So I'll turn this floor over to you, Jeff, the Stamps fan, right now. He says Bo had a shot. He just didn't like the opportunity. He was told he had no shot at the starter's job. His role was to be purely supportive of Cousins. Well, that's what you read, right? That's what Bo said. I'm sure that's pretty close to the truth. But again, that's the point. Was Bo going to uproot his family and leave Calgary, which was a tremendous situation for him, to go to Minnesota for less money and that? Why would he? And at some point, Bo's going to have to, in his own mind, because he's a lot younger than me, have that revelation where this is pretty damn good. But I can tell you right now, it's got to be nagging Bo to know that he's good enough to be there and he's still in the prime of his career, right? And that's not that his wife wasn't saying, go, Bo, go. I know Bo, from what I hear, because we got so many mutual friends, is he's a family guy. He's a good guy, right? He's going to do the right thing.
Right.
You're just sitting there staring at me. What do you think?
No, it's such a tough situation because that's what life's all about, making those hard choices. We want to go chase our dreams, but we have to manage the risk and at what cost and evaluate, is it actually a dream? Because you go to Minnesota, Kirk Cousins doesn't play well, but you still don't get an opportunity because they're riding with him.
No, you might be unhappy there too.
Then you get a high draft pick and they use it on a young quarterback right out of college, a hot shot, and all of a sudden you're not the backup either. And it's gone. And
somebody's quarterbacking in your spot in Calgary.
That's my point, right? It's a big risk. But at some point, when you're sitting on your deathbed, you look back at all the things you regret, right? And will he regret not taking the chance and betting on himself? I don't know. Maybe he'll still have that opportunity, but those are tough choices to make.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I agree with you, Rod. See, Jeff, this is a day for a guy like you. Right? You love football. This is the thing. And it's funny because usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm like, I really like the hockey. I feel more at home with hockey. And then we get into the football like Monday, Friday. I really like the football. I'm very comfortable in football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't like the jump back and forth. I like these specific days. Chris Bird in Toronto says Toronto is not over the salary cap. That is determined after the season is done. Any team can sign any number of players they want if they're not paying anything. Let's go way back, rewind to the start of the show, the Quick Six show topics, the warm-up, where I said, thank you, Jordan. You people really have it going on back there today. My wife said, are you going to get in trouble for saying you people so much? I said, no, I don't have a problem with... Nobody should have a problem with the phrase you people. Some do. But in the case of Don Cherry, to say you people's not a swear. The way he said it, he was talking about immigrants. The second he said that, because I came home, that was the night I was doing the dinner in Paradise Hill with Rachel Holman, Daryl Sutter, Brian Sutter, Buddy Bensmiller, and it was 2019 at the time, so Twitter's blowing up that Cherry had said something, right? Well, within 0.5 seconds, I found it on Twitter, the video, and I'm like, oh, he's done. He's done. And I like Cherry, but my thing, you cannot lump a group of people, particularly minorities, that way.
No.
Right? When I say you people, you viewers, that's what my intentions are by that. Where's the bell? It's not offensive. But to lump a group of minorities into that, it is.
Yeah.
And...
especially when you're shaming them, too.
That's the point.
Not wearing poppies and doing that, And then, I don't know. There's still ways to do it. To phrase it properly, to come at it with compassion.
You know what? If he had just said... You new Canadians, this is the problem I have. He might have actually had a problem, but there's this negative connotation. But that's just the way Sportsnet is. It's not necessarily a societal thing. It's a Sportsnet policy. And my thing with Cherry is, I don't care about the new Canadians or immigrants, anybody not wearing a poppy. There are people born and raised in Canada that don't wear poppies. That's the problem that I have.
Right.
And if he had said, you people that don't wear poppies, he might have saved himself. But he said, you like our milk and honey? He made it very clear who he was talking to.
Oh, yeah. You're
very
not
clear
from here, and you better, shape up or ship out.
No, and
right?
And I think we all admire it that he was given the opportunity by Monday to apologize. He's like, nope. He's like, I meant to say it to who I said it to and how I said it. Remember, he came on this show and he goes, I want to thank you people for having me on the air. Remember that?
I do.
He doesn't regret anything of what he says. And nor necessarily should he. And actually, you're going to want to read my 10 things column this weekend, Darren, because I'm going to talk about the diversity movement that Sportsnet's bringing in Hockey Night in Canada. You're really going to want to read that.
I can't wait. I can get into it a little bit here, and it's going to shock people. It's going to shock people. And actually, we have one more segment left here of the viewer takeover, so you can write us at 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer. I see a question has come in for Lynch, and I apologize. He's gone, and I just saw it. But I don't have a problem at all with what Sportsnet's doing. I don't. I'm going to go far more deep into it in my column. But Sean Bell, I tuned in and watched the intermission last night of the Oilers game, and Bellsy's on there. He's been on this show. I've known him since he was 17 years old. What the hell's wrong with having him on there? I don't have a problem with Bellsy on there. Let's not forget that Drew Remenda, middle-aged white guy, lost his job so Bellsy could be in there. Ageism, discrimination. How far we want to go with this? Right.
And then Hanarin Singh, I actually think his goal calls are cute.
I love him.
I know.
I love him.
McDavid. I like Yamamoto. I like it.
I love him. I love those. Now, yes, his play-by-play isn't at the level of Jim Houston or Chris Cuthbert or Gord Miller or any of the other national guys. He's not there yet, but he's getting an opportunity, right? And he's got his own thing, which is great. Those goal calls are outstanding.
Yeah.
They're memorable. He seems like a nice guy. His play-by-play's got to get better to be at that level, but he's getting the opportunity. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. I mean, we can all sit. One thing about music, movies, play-by-play guys, food, some like it, some don't.
Yeah.
Right? And Clark's saying we should break it. We're walking on thin ice here right now, and you're loving it. So hang on. We'll be right back to pick up on this. It's the RP Show. Now live daily on YouTube and Facebook, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
This right here is time well spent. Why not pour yourself a smooth Saskatchewan-made Original 16? Warm up to the opportunity to seize the day.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends. You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Moose Dupont here and our entire crew. Final segment of the week. I'm just going to go ding, 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 ding down the comments here, and then I'll pick one that's interesting.
All right.
Jeff, the Stamps fan, is completely mind-screwing me. He says, Flames look like they could be headed to the basement. They're just getting worse and worse. I said we're talking football today, Jeff. He was talk about Flames. Well, then you got James in Morden, Manitoba. Gotta love the Sens. I think Calgary and Vancouver better start worrying about Ottawa because they're coming hard. I think we could see Calgary in last by the end. Stop. It's Football Friday. It's like herding cats with these people. You people. Glenn Brunette says, you people on the RP show have put a great show together. Well, it's all about entertainment.
Thanks, Glenn.
Wayne in Victoria says, the passion you show for what you're doing is awesome, Rod. I love the show. As you can tell, Wayne is a big-time P1. From our sponsor, from Darnell Rockstar Supply Chains, Darnell says, controversy equals entertainment. One of the best storylines in the CFL is Rod versus Bo. But that is how the business has changed because the executives now, no. I hear it all the time. We just want it to run smooth. And I had coffee with a guy this week who once said to me when I was voice of the Riders, he said, you got the best job in the world. And I said, it's actually not the best job in the world. It's not what you think. I'm not going to get into why. But this now is the best job in the world because I don't have anybody controlling what I say. When I was voice of the Rough Riders, I had them controlling what I say. It became not fun. It wasn't the entire time. It was just near the end. So when I left that team, I was done with the business. Done. I'm like, if this is the way the business is now, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you people came to me and said, we have an opportunity here, Rod. And Paul said it many, many times. Just be yourself. I don't even know what that is. I had to take a while to figure out what that is, what I can say and what I can't. And now I was on a podcast this week in the States, and they said, you're the Canadian version of the Pat McAfee show or Spittin' Chicklets. And I'm like, wow, I'll take that as one heck of a compliment. in terms of what we do. But back to the diversity movement by Sportsnet, because it's more of a Sportsnet thing. TSN a little bit, too, I guess. Mm-hmm. And this will probably go on my column yet. I've just started thinking about it. But I had an agent tell me that he was trying to get a person hired, a client of his, with a network, and was told if you are, as a broadcaster, said if you are not female or a minority, you won't get hired. That's their policy. That's their network. They can do whatever they want. We have a choice whether or not, as the viewer, to watch. And I watched Belzy last night, and I did not change the channel. He's giving quality analysis. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, Hockey Night in Canada with their panel in between periods, we now have a choice. Do we want to stay or do we not want to stay? I'm now going to watch Biz Nasty's live Instagram intermissions from his condo in Arizona because they're 100 times better. But can I say this about Don Cherry, an old white man? Ratings went up in the intermission. We were setting our VCR to tape around, the game starts at 6, our time. Let's set the VCR to tape 6:45 because that's when Cherry's going to be on. See what they've done? They haven't made it must-see television in the intermissions anymore because they have a movement of diversity, and that's totally fine. It's their network. And that Hannah Ryan Singh, as I said before the break, I find the guy entertaining. It's like my guilty pleasure. I see guys ripping him on Twitter. He's not good enough to be national. Says who? Who says that? Who gets to decide that?
Yeah, who gets to make that decision?
His bosses think that he is.
And they make the decision.
Right. McDavid! It's becoming a thing.
Yeah. Every time there's change in a movement, it always swings too far. Not saying this is wrong too far, but the pendulum, right? It always starts over here, and then as it comes down, it doesn't just stop where it should. It swings far. So you'll have more diversity, and they'll get opportunities. And eventually, you want it to settle out right where it should, where there's a great mix and everybody has an opportunity and talent wins, right? No matter what you look like, no matter what your sex is, all of those things, talent wins. And it will balance back there. But that's what is going to stand out.
But my point is there are some people that have been hired by the networks that I don't think are good enough to be there. And clearly I'm not going to name them, but I'll just change the channel. I'm not going to go to Twitter and Facebook and rant about it. That's just me. Don Mitchell, watching in the Middle East, says everyone is scared of the mob. Keep doing what you're doing. But I'm not scared. After what I've been through in my life, I'm not scared of anything. And what with this Babcock stuff this week, the people have known better than to come at me on the Babcock stuff because I'll bite their head off. The cancel culture people back off real fast when they realize that you're not going to stand down to them. And you don't have bosses that they can influence. That's the real scary thing for them.
Yeah.
Mark Zosel, for me, when the period is over, I channel surf. Nothing to watch in the intermission. They did that to themselves. The networks did that to themselves. And like with Bell and all the cuts, 800 people in Bell Media on radio, they're forcing everybody online. The radio's doing it to themselves. There's nothing that we're doing. They're cannibalizing themselves.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything else? We got like a minute to go.
No, that pretty much sums it up. It does. It pretty much sums it up. And, talent wins, right? There are quality broadcasters of all shapes and sizes and colors. And, it'll settle out. The cream will rise to the top.
It always does, but we're still in the middle of the mixing.
Yeah.
It hasn't settled yet.
Yeah.
Here, I know, not like we're going to TV commercial break here, but John in Edmonton wrote in that question for Frenzy was question for Lynch and Rod. If the CFL does not play this year, what do you think will happen to the league? Do you think the NFL, XFL, or another league will swoop in and take over Canada's National League? John, I hate to leave you hanging until Monday, but that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll address that on Monday. What's next for the CFL if they don't play? Because it's a great question that we don't have time here for today. Alan Miller of the Moose Jaw Warriors in Hockey Canada next Monday. Paul Figler from the Dub. See you, Dupes.
Bye.
I can sniff controversy. I can smell it.